Module 3, Solving a Problem Using a Model. In this module, we are going to continue to work with our practice problems, moving on to the next step. So far, you have read and understood the problem, rewrote questions as sentences, and modeled problems showing the change. In this module, we are going to use the models we made to actually perform the mathematical operation needed to solve the problem. Here is an example of the objectives of this module as stated in the module of introduction. Mary had 8 cupcakes. She gave 3 cupcakes to her friends. How many cupcakes does she have left? She had 8 cupcakes and gave 3 away. This module focuses on using a model to perform a math operation. In this problem, there are 8 cupcakes and 3 have been crossed out because they were given away. The terms gave away and the model of 3 cupcakes being crossed out tell you to subtract. You would then use the subtraction problem 8 minus 3 equals 5 and place 5 in the blank of the sentence you wrote. Now that you understand what the objectives are, let's start the lesson. Since we have completed our modules 1 and 2, we already have our sentence, restating the word problem, and our model showing the problem and change. Susie was birdwatching in her backyard. She counted 8 birds in the tree. Then 3 more birds flew into the tree. How many birds does Susie have now? Or see now? Now we will use the clues in the problem and the model to perform the correct mathematical operation to solve the problem. Our problem tells us that Susie is birdwatching and counting birds. She sees and counts 8 birds, then 3 more flew into the tree. Our model shows this because we use 2 separate groups of blocks to show each set of birds. Because we want to know how many birds Susie counted altogether, we are going to add. I would use the addition sentence 8 plus 3 equals 11. And then write that answer in the blank of the sentence. Do you understand so far? Great. Let's move on. Just like before, since we've been following our steps, we've already read the problem. Mark loves to collect rocks. He had 9 rocks in his collection. On a trip, he found 6 more rocks. How many rocks are in Mark's collection now? We already have a sentence and a model to go with the problem. Now I need to carefully look at the model, the key words in the problem, and the sentence I wrote to decide what operation to use. We want to find out how many rocks Mark has in his collection. He had 9, then got 6 more, shown by the 2 groups drawn in the model. So I would add the 2 groups together to get the total number of rocks in his collection. That means I'm going to add 9 plus 6 to get 15. Finally, I'm going to write that sum in the blank of my sentence. Voila! We have completed step 3. Great job. Let's keep going. Here's that problem that gives us information in a little different way. But is it a problem for us? No way. We are still going to approach it in the same way. Let's look at the model we created, the sentence we wrote, and the keywords in the problem. First, the problem and the model show us that 15 cookies is the whole amount. Then some cookies were given away and left Sal with 6. Giving away means subtraction, so we can subtract what he had left to see what he gave away. The problem I would use is 15 minus 6 equals 9. Once we find the answer, we write it back in our sentence. Sal gave 9 cookies away. Another problem done. Wow, we are doing great. Now we come to that tricky comparing problem. But it won't be tricky when we're done with it. Let's look at the problem and the model. The problem says, how many more did Mary read than Jack? Which means we are comparing 2 amounts to see which one is bigger than the other. When we look at our model, we have matched up the books Mary read to the books Jack read until there were no more books left to match. What we have left is the difference between the books Mary read and Jack read. Do you remember what the answer to an addition problem, to a subtraction problem is called? That's right, it's called the difference. So wait a second. That means that this problem is subtraction. The problem would be 7 minus 5 equals 2. And looking at the model, we see that 2 blocks that don't have a match. So the problem matches the picture. So now you know all a comparing problem is just really subtraction. I'll write 2 in the blank of our sentence, Mary read 2 more books than Jack read, and keep it moving. Now it's your turn. Tom counted 8 blocks on the floor of his room. Then he found 4 more under his bed. He put all the blocks away. How many blocks did Tom put away? It's your turn now. Now that you've heard the problem, again, go to your virtual manipulatives, model the problem again, and this time perform the mathematical operation you need to solve the problem. Pause the video now to work. Press play when you are ready to check. Welcome back. I bet you did great. Let's see if you are on the right track. Remember those models you could have made? I'm sure you have a good one, just like one of these. Next, you should have come up with the correct mathematical problem. 8 plus 4 equals 12, to show that the group of 8 blocks and the group of 4 blocks were together put away. Finally, we put that answer 12 back into the sentence. Tom put 12 blocks away to solve the problem. Great job. Jan had 12 new pencils. She gave a few to her friend. Now she has 8 pencils. How many pencils did she give to her friend? Now that you have heard the problem again, go to your virtual manipulatives, model the problem again, and this time perform the mathematical operation needed to solve the problem. Pause the video now to work. Press play when you are ready to check. Welcome back. I bet you have another good-looking model and mathematical operation to solve the problem. Here are the models we looked at last module. I'm sure you used one like this again this time. What math problem did you come up with? Hopefully you wrote 12 minus 8 equals 4 because she had 12 pencils at first. She gave away some and was left with 8. All that's left to do now is put the 4 in the sentence to solve. You are doing very nicely. John had 8 fish in his tank at home. For his birthday, he was given 3 new fish. After adding them to his tank, how many fish does he have now? Now that you have heard the problem again, go to your virtual manipulatives, model the problem again, and this time perform the mathematical operation needed to solve the problem. Pause the video now to work. Press play when you are ready to check. Welcome back. Let's compare our work. Here are the models again. I'm sure you used one of them. Now what math sentence did you come up with? I bet you wrote 8 plus 3 equals 11 because the 8 fish John had plus the 3 fish he got is equal to 11. Now we put that answer in the blank of the sentence. John has 11 fish now. And keep on moving. Sam and Todd got new crayons. Sam had a box of 12 crayons. Todd had a box of 8 crayons. How many more crayons does Sam have than Todd? Now that you have heard the problem again, go to your virtual manipulatives, model the problem again, and this time perform the mathematical operation needed to solve the problem. Pause the video now to work. Press play when you are ready to check. Alrighty. Last, we have another comparing problem. Do you remember how to solve it? I'm sure you remembered the special model we learned. Now let's see if you remembered what kind of math sentence to use. Did you write 12 minus 8 equals 4? Of course you did. Great job. Now we plug it into our sentence, and we've answered the problem. Super! Wow, you did a great job solving these problems. If you want to go through this video again, please do so as many times as you need. Or go to the practice quiz section of this module and practice what you learned before taking the official quiz. Good luck!